just see what's out there. We'll kind of flop around a little bit. I kind of like this one, but the volume, that drastic volume fall off from this candle to this candle, a little bit scaly. Don't like that. I might grab some of this. Yeah, I'm kind of liking this one. This is a ZBAI, so there's a little bit of there's a heartbeat, and I want to see it break over this level right here. So we do have some wicks, so we got to be very careful. They are magically delicious. I do like marshmallows, as long as they're not the marshmallows from The Hangover. All right, so what have I done? Did I just sell? Oh, okay. That was weird. I got to cancel the seller. I accidentally just put a seller in. That's funny. 7119 plus 6%. So I did take an entry here at 7119. Now this is obviously high risk, so I'm going to set my sell order here at that, and then that's going to be 7546, 0.7546. So this is a little bit more anticipatory, but I've got the stuff to work out for us, and we'll see if we get that push. Now this one is sketchy because it's got intermittent volume. So as long as the volume can push in, sustain, and all that good stuff, will be good. Otherwise, we might see another rejection here, and the rejection that might actually stick to the downside. So I'm pretty confident, but the entry was a little bit sketchy because we got in before these wick breaks. So that's all. It's just about the whether or not we get outvoted at this point. We kind of hopped around a little bit. We were kind of doing where the volume is. I'm okay with this one pulling down a little bit. I don't want it coming all the way down to like 50 cents or anything like that. It still has the juice. It just needs consistent volume, and that's kind of the only risk factor here, is that we're not really seeing that. So I might have a little bit of drawdown on this one, and I might actually add some to this one if I want to. But all right, so I might add a little bit to this if it comes down, but I don't want it all the way down here. You know, that's not where I want to add. So we'll go ahead and see what we get in this kind of area here. So actually, let me set my cancel my sell order here, and I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to back to order entry, and we're going to place another buy order of 48% because we have to not exceed that what's it called, the buying power. Now you can see there's a little bit of support coming in here, but I don't want to just jump in. All right, let me draw a line here as well for 75.46. Now if I do miss this buy up here and it just happens to go up for whatever reason, then I can always just, not place that second buy, right? I do have two trades that I could take in that case. So if it goes up and I miss that and I don't get my confirmation, that's okay. If it goes down, I still have the second buy if I need it. If I do get my confirmation, I can buy it and then go up and reduce earlier because my take profit will be down here. And that's all I got to do. So 3 possible outcomes here. We're just waiting for a little bit more of a pop here. You can see it's kind of doing the heartbeat, and it's kind of sticking up to the top of this candle. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can actually see that a little bit more closely. And effectively, all we're doing is we're just taking like a buy that we would normally place here, and we're just looking for that same opportunity down here. So break over this current candle here. So as soon as this candle goes bullish, then I'll probably place my second buy. To go, so we wouldn't, again, I'm going to go ahead and place my second buy there. Then I'll read your thing, sorry. All right, so my average is now 67.18 plus 6%, since I'm shooting for that. 71.21, so let me place that 0.7121. And that would be still up here, right? So sorry, Duco says, so wouldn't we want to stop out since we're down over 6% when we were looking for 6% on half the position? So in this case, I'm placing 2 buys. So I'm placing my first buy, and then since we get the drawdown, I place my second buy. That's just my personal approach. If you wanted to stop out nice and tight, you could, absolutely. Sometimes we just use like a 1% stop loss or just keep it super tight. But I'm okay with this one given the potential in the volume here. You don't want to let it draw down and then stop out, right? So if you're going to stop out, you got to do it up here nice and tight. If you're okay adding more to it and lowering that average, you can do that. And then, of course, if this falls down here, like below this, I'll just take a slightly larger spanking on it, and that's okay. Now, the market is going to open here in about 25 seconds, so I'm going to cancel my sell order here. I have my hotkeys set up, so I'll just hit Control-3 when it's above. Let me just erase everything else here. Basically, when it breaks out of this box, these two levels here, then I'll just stop out for either a profit or a loss. And for that first candle, like it's probably going to show some weirdness, and I'm okay with that. We don't want that to like mess with our head. It's really the like movement of the candle, not just like if you see the price pop down here or up here, that's okay. But like when it's moving like right here, for example, if this doesn't come back, I'm out. Like I'm not going to mess around with it. So at this point, we've pulled off the bottom of this wick. So if it breaks below that, I'm absolutely out. That's a hard cut. Absolute no square down here. So sorry, I'm going to erase this one. And I'm probably going to stop out. So I took a little bit of a hit on this one so far. But that's okay, right? Because the other 4 days of the week, we were up 26%. So we ended up taking a pretty sketchy entry on this one, but it's okay. This is the nature of these low float. We're not used to you losing. Yeah, well, whoop, there we go. I'm out. No hesitation. Screw that. Yeah, so at this point, you know, we can't trust it. And even if it does go up and all that, that's okay. So we took a pretty big hit today, 13.5%, and that's okay. You know, like I said, we're up double digits, you know, twice that for the week. You know, and this unfortunately is kind of what happens if you choose to double down. If I didn't want to double down and I kept my risk nice and tight, maybe that loss would have been like 3%, 4%. But I kind of took a little bit more risk here, and that's okay. So the good news is that we achieved the same end result in that we're done trading on this account for the day without having to commit a bunch of time staring to charts. Again, today on ZBAI, let me pull that up here. You know, we took a little bit earlier of an entry, right? Which again, that's kind of the only real deviation I consider today. I was okay, and it is part of my plan to try to recover the position if there's opportunity, and there was, you know, based on the information I had. And then I stopped out when it failed, right? So that part of the trade, even though it looks ugly, and I took a slightly larger hit, that's all within alignment, and I can absorb that. I'm still net positive. This part right here, though, I got in with a riskier entry than normal. So this is my deviation for the day. Not so much this, but this. And again, you know, it's also important, like I said earlier, before we had access to any of this information, it's important to praise ourselves for stopping out when we did, because the price is now, you know, much lower. You know, you're looking at another 19% in drawdown, you know, so we'd be about 30, 40% down at that point that we didn't have to deal with, right? So that's why it's important before you get this information in front of you to make sure that you develop the habit of saying, okay, I manage my risk successfully, just like you would up here if you were to take a profit, because that's what you're doing. You're managing risk. You're removing the risk exposure. You know, you have to do that for yourself. You have to reinforce that behavior